Welcome back to Healthy Mindspace TV. I'm Mike Grant. Take a deep breath. You're exactly where you need to be. Motivation is unreliable. It never stays. That is the truth most people do not want to hear. Because motivation feels powerful when it is there. It makes you start. It makes you promise. It makes you believe this time will be different. But motivation is a feeling, and feelings change. They change with sleep. They change with stress. They change with one hard morning. So if your progress depends on motivation, your progress depends on something that was never designed to stay. Today, I want to show you the system behind consistency and how steady action can change your life more than emotion ever will. That is why so many people keep restarting their lives. Not because they are lazy, not because they are incapable, not because they do not care, but because they built their future on an emotion instead of a system. People start strong. They make a new plan. They buy the notebook. They set the alarm. They feel locked in, focused, disciplined, excited. But then life becomes life again. Fatigue shows up, life hits back fast. Stress shows up, it starts to feel heavy. Boredom shows up, it stays for a while. Sometimes nothing dramatic even has to happen. Sometimes all it takes is one low energy day. One poor night of sleep, it takes a toll. One moment of self-doubt. One shift in mood, everything feels different. And suddenly the routine that felt powerful starts feeling heavy. The task gets postponed, I'll do it later. The workout becomes tomorrow, just one more day. And the mind starts whispering, it's hard to ignore. Maybe I am the problem, but what if you are not the problem? What if the real problem is that you were taught to depend on motivation for something that actually requires structure? That changes everything. It's a complete shift. Because the moment you stop making this a character issue, you can finally solve it like a design issue. That means you stop attacking yourself and you start asking questions. It's time to find out. What in my system is making this harder than it needs to be? Here is the first shift. Consistency is not doing everything. Consistency is continuing. It's about moving forward. But most people hear the word consistency and imagine perfection. Never missing, never slipping, never slowing down, never having an off day. But that idea is impossible to sustain. It just won't work. And because it is impossible, it quietly destroys people. One missed day starts to feel like failure. One bad week starts to feel like proof that nothing is working. It turns growth into pressure. It turns routine into punishment. It turns discipline into an identity crisis. It's time to choose. So instead of building momentum, people build shame. And shame does not make you return. It's a silent weight. Shame makes you hide. It pulls you away. That is why consistency cannot be built on self-hate. Consistency is not perfection. It is a daily return. So consistency has to be redefined. Consistency is not perfection. Consistency is return. Return after a hard day. Return after a distracted week. Return after a mistake. Return after losing the rhythm. That is the real skill, not never falling off. Returning faster. The people who change their lives do not let the break become their identity. Most inconsistency is not random. It has roots. Too much friction, unrealistic expectations, unstable energy, an overloaded life, habits that are too hard to repeat. Once you understand inconsistency as friction instead of failure, you stop asking, what is wrong with me? And you start asking, what needs to be simplified? Sometimes the answer is obvious. You are exhausted. You are overcommitted. You are trying to start too much at once. You are building for your ideal self instead of your real self. That is where most people lose. Not at the level of desire, at the level of design. Build for who you actually are. Designing for your real life is the only way to stay consistent. The best system is not the most intense one. It is the one that survives real life. It still works when you are busy. It still works when you are tired. It still works when the day did not go as planned. It does not ask you to be perfect to keep going. It gives you something small enough to keep repeating. It lowers resistance so progress feels possible even on hard days. That means you do not need the most impressive routine. Simple wins matter because they are repeatable. And repeatable actions are what create momentum. Start small, win today. Your system needs a floor, not just a ceiling. If your habit feels too big, make it smaller. 1 page, 10 minutes, 1 rep, 1 walk. Not the full routine, not the perfect version. Just the smallest version you can still complete, without talking yourself out of it. Because a habit does not need to look impressive to keep you in motion. One small action that says, I still show up here. Because patterns are more powerful than bursts. I still show up here. Small actions matter because they create evidence, and evidence strengthens belief. It's the proof your mind needs. The mind believes patterns more than promises. It watches what you repeat. It remembers what you keep doing when no one is watching. And every small action becomes a quiet signal about who you are becoming. That is why small follow-through matters so much. Not because it looks big, but because it teaches your mind that your words can be trusted. And when that trust grows, you stop negotiating with yourself so much. You stop needing constant emotional hype just to begin. You stop feeling like every habit has to be a dramatic win to count. Because once your mind has enough proof, consistency starts feeling less like force and more like identity. That is the shift most people are really after. Not just better habits, but a better relationship with themselves, a calmer mind, less guilt, less starting over, more inner evidence that says, I am becoming someone I can trust. So the more proof you give yourself, the more natural that new identity becomes. That is how you become someone your own mind can rely on. And then come the bad days, the real test. Anybody can look disciplined on a good day. Bad days reveal whether your system is real. So here is the rule: never skip twice. Do less if you need to. Slow down if you need to. Scale the habit down if you need to. But do not disappear. On bad days, the goal is not excellence. The goal is visibility. That is how you keep the momentum alive. The goal is visibility. That is how you win. If you have been struggling to stay consistent, maybe you do not need more pressure. Maybe you need a better system, a system that fits your real life, a system you can return to even on hard days, a system that does not fall apart the moment life gets heavy, a system that helps you trust yourself instead of constantly doubting yourself. Because real change is not built in one perfect week. It is built in the quiet decision to come back again. It is built when you stop making every setback mean something about your worth. It is built when you learn how to stay with yourself through the boring days, the messy days, and the low-energy days. That is when consistency becomes more than a habit. It becomes self-respect. It becomes identity. It becomes proof that you are no longer abandoning yourself. Start with one small action. Protect the pattern. Keep showing up. Comment below, what small step are you ready to protect today? If this message spoke to you, take a moment to like, subscribe, and share it with someone who needs it. This is Healthy Mind Space TV. I'm Mike Grant. I'll see you in the next one. One step at a time, one thought at a time.